Today I'm going to be sharing the secret of how I grew thicker, fuller hair in my 60s for under $15. Welcome back. This is Pretty Over 50 and I'm Kimberly. I'm really glad that you're here. I'm going to be sharing with you a little secret that I used, unbeknownst to me, to grow thicker, fuller hair in my 60s. I'm 62 years old and my hair is thicker and fuller than it's ever been. I'm going to go through the whole story with you today. Before we get started, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel and you haven't yet, just click that little red button down below the video. And if you'd like to be notified of any of my upcoming videos, just click the notification bell and YouTube will let you know when there's a new video waiting for you. The story of how I got thicker, fuller hair kind of starts a while ago. It's a bit of a story, but stick with me. It's gonna be worth it. So all my life, I had thin, limp hair. Really, it was blonde all my younger years, but it was so thin. And I grew up in the time of the Farrah Fawcett hairdo. Maybe you did too, where it was full and curly and lush. And my little limp hair just wasn't that. I even had to get haircuts. I had the Dorothy Hamill for the longest time because that was the only thing that would keep my very thin hair from looking ridiculous. I had to have a blunt cut and it had to be very short because my hair was so thin. So I just learned to deal with my thin hair and managed around it. Every now and then I'd curl it and try to get some kind of fluff and volume to it, but it never really worked. And it maybe lasted for 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. So fast forward, and this is kind of where the story starts. I was down in the desert in the Palm Springs area visiting a naturopathic doctor who specialized in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. I was going through menopause and I wanted to get some help with the symptoms. He was a great guy, very knowledgeable, and a little left of center as far as medical practices went, which was really perfect for me because that's kind of where I lean as well. And when we were doing our consultation, he was just kind of talking about health in general and the things that he felt really made a difference. And he talked to me about vitamin D. Now, I never really heard much about vitamin D, but he kind of went on. He said, vitamin D is so good for us as, as humans. He says they're going to find a way to make it illegal or make you have to have a prescription. That's how good it is. So I kind of, tucked that away. I thought maybe it was a little bit of an extreme view, but I remembered it. And so years went by. I don't know that I really started taking the vitamin D. I might have for a little bit, but it definitely wasn't anything that I kept doing regularly. So fast forward, years go by, and now I'm seeing in the literature that vitamin D is really being heralded as quite a wonder vitamin. Well, now I'm prepping to get ready for my trip. If you don't know, I just returned a little while ago from 2 years of full-time travel. So when you're out of the country for 2 years, you really kind of have to plan ahead about what you're going to take. And I wanted to take some type of nutritional supplements with me. And I don't know if you know, but vitamin D is tiny. They're the tiniest little capsules. So I thought, I'm going to take some vitamin D, which is what I did. So for 2 years, I traveled and I had vitamin D and I'd have someone send it to me when I was someplace that I could get some mail. They're tiny little capsules. Now, keep in mind, I was taking a high dose of vitamin D, and I think that there's probably some different opinions about what's a good dose and what is too much and what is too little. I take 5,000 IUs of vitamin D every single day, and that's what I was doing when I was on my trip. So I'm just taking the vitamin D, going along my merry way, having a great time, not thinking much about my hair, my skin, or makeup, or anything else. And then I ended up in a town called San Miguel de Allende, which is down in Mexico. And I'm hanging out with a girlfriend. She's from San Antonio. I'm from California. We're talking and riffing and this and that. And she says, oh my gosh, I've got to get some vitamin D. I'm all out and my hair's starting to fall out. And all of a sudden I thought, what? Now, keep in mind, this whole time, my hair is getting thicker and thicker and thicker on my trip, but I'm not really noticing because I'm not paying attention. But when she said that, all of a sudden a light bulb went off in my head and I thought, wait a minute, is that what's going on with my hair? And so I talked to her a little bit about it, and yes, she had a real issue with hair loss. She was about my age, maybe about 5 years younger. I'm 62, and she was talking about how vitamin D really helps her hair growth. So all of a sudden I start connecting the dots. Now that I'm back home again, and I've got some time, I'm back to Northern California, and I've really come to the conclusion that the reason that my hair is thicker than it's ever been in my life, and it is thicker and has so much volume. I mean, I have a ton of hair now. I've never had hair in my life. And when I went to get my hair cut recently, the hairdresser said, "I've got to thin this. You have so much hair." So all of a sudden, I really came to the conclusion that the reason that my hair is so much thicker and more lustrous and has more body is because of the vitamin D. So I thought, well, if that's the conclusion I'm going to draw, I better check that out. So I looked online, and this is what I found. So I found an article, and this is what it says. It says, a 2012 study in the Journal of Stem Cell Medicine suggests that vitamin D can help create new follicles. And those are the little pores where new hair can grow. So I really realized that vitamin D I've been taking every day was what made my hair thicker and more lustrous. So, I'm not a researcher. I know there's probably tons of medical journals out there that will tell you the pros and cons or the truth and non-truth of vitamin D. But for me, I really come to the conclusion that the reason that my hair is so much thicker than it's ever been in my life is the 5,000 IUs of vitamin D I take every day. So I have continued on with it. Now, the next question you might have, and I would have it too, is, well, if vitamin D really helps your hair get so thick and lustrous, why haven't we heard about it? Well, because no one's going to be able to make a huge profit off of it. Vitamin D, the last bottle I bought, and I looked it up on Amazon. Let me pull it up. The last bottle I bought off of Amazon was $12.47. And I'll put the link to this product down below if you want to try it out. So nobody's making a big profit off of vitamin D. So if they tell you that you can take vitamin D every day and get lustrous hair, they're not going to make the kind of money that they can make if they're selling you a 50, 60, 80, 90 or more dollar product. So it just comes all back to, commerce and big business. And then the other side is what really works. So vitamin D, I've come to the conclusion, for me, has really made a huge, huge difference in my hair, the thickness of it, the body of it, the fullness of it. I'm going to be taking vitamin D every day, 5,000 IUs to the foreseeable future. Now, I want you to keep in mind, I am not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a medical practitioner of any kind. All I'm doing is sharing my experience with you. This is my personal experience. I don't know if it's going to work for you. I don't know if it's going to work for anyone else, but I know that it certainly worked for me. And it worked for my girlfriend in San Miguel de Allende, because she knew when her hair started falling out and getting thinner that it was because she had stopped taking her vitamin D. So there's a little tip for you. If you're interested in thicker and fuller hair and you want to give this a try, make sure that you comment down below and let us know how it works out for you, or comment on what you've used that's very affordable to help your hair stay lustrous and full. I know as we get older, our hair seems to get thinner. I've gotten older, my hair has gotten thicker. So I'm pretty sure it's the vitamin D. Anyway, I thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you end up using the vitamin D, make sure you follow up with me and let me know how it works out for you. If you're interested in subscribing to my channel, just go ahead and click that little red button down below. And if you'd like to be notified when I post new videos, click the notification bell and you'll get a little notification from YouTube. So this is Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly. Here's the full, fluffy, volumized hair. I'm so thrilled to have it. I've never had it in my entire life, so I'm getting a kick out of it. Anyway, hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.